Right. So this is one business case scenario we have taken, especially in Microsoft Dynamics as a business analyst when we are working on. So whenever we try to understand the role of a business analyst, first and foremost thing, we must be knowing about the business situation, right? So business situation as in a company providing some industrial, because first of all, we must be knowing about the client, who the client is, like what business situation they were in. So the client is a national provider of industrial heating and cooling maintenance, wherein they are managing somewhere around 120 technicians using a combination of Outlook calendars, paperwork orders. At the same time, they are using some legacy SQL-based databases, wherein these data must be synced between the fields and as well as central office happens manually at the end of the each week. That is what the business situation. Because managing their employees, managing their technicians, they are using different combinations like Outlook calendar. They are using paperwork orders. They are using at the same time they are using some old legacy SQL based database for a very long time, so that they wants to manage the syncing of data between fields, central offices, and all. So everything are happening manually. Uh, Even though they are managing all these at the end of each week, so they are doing all these manually. This is the business situation. Now, what is the business problem? So, as a business analyst, we must be knowing about the problem. There were three problems were identified. One about the scheduling inefficiency, because whenever there is any dispatches that we do, right? So, dispatches spend somewhere around 4 hours daily to map all these, right? So, manually to mapping the routes, right? How to dispatch and all. So, uh, that resulting in spending high fuel cost. At the same time, there can be a time which will be idle time will also be more, right? So the unnecessary time, the efficiency of time reduces, right? So idle time is becoming more, right? So scheduling inefficiency is one problem they are identified. Second, revenue leakages because of the paperwork orders are using. Uh, Generally, these are eligible, right? So ineligible. So resulting in 10% failure rate in billing for parts they are being used. So that resulting in revenue leakage. The third, zero real-time visibility, because customers cannot be given for any accurate ETAs, right? So which can be leading to low CSAT, right? So customer satisfaction score. So these are the three problems. One is about schedule inefficiency, second revenue leakage, and third zero real-time visibility. So these are the three problems as a BA as well as our team has identified. Now, whenever we identified the business situation, understood the business situation followed by the problem, we must be knowing about what should be the project's need and scope. So we have identified there is a need of implementing Dynamics 365 field services to automate the scheduling. At the same time, they want to digitize the work orders through mobile apps. At the same time, they want to integrate with some D365 finances for automated invoices. This is a need they have identified here. Now, we must be knowing about the scope, which can be categorized into two parts. One is in scope and second is out scope. In scope can be like resource scheduling optimization and field service mobile apps, work order management, inventory parts. These are all we call it as in scope. Second is out of scope. Out of scope, nothing but wherein D365 market integrations or any customer voice service, payroll processing. These are all we call it as out of scope, which is not required. The in scope is the major area wherein we are focusing more on that. Now, next, what gap analysis is identified. So this is the gap analysis identified. The areas are as follows. One is in scheduling area. Earlier it was manual drag and drop Outlook. Now they wants to automate scheduling by configuring the booking rules and metadata. Next, field data, where earlier it was paper-based forms. Now we wants to incorporate Power Apps and as well as 365 mobile applications so that we can design the mobile forms. At the same time, we can offline sync also. Next, inventory. Earlier it was manually monthly countable inventory. Now they wants to have a real-time warehousing and truck tracking. So for that, they can set up product inventory and as well as work order products also. These are the gaps as a BA that is identified here. Next, what features and functionalities? These are the functional requirements because system must automatically suggest the closest qualified technician so that based on the geofencing. Next, technicians must be able in a position to capture the customer signatures and photos directly in the mobile app, followed by automatic generation of invoices using 365 and all, right? So these are the functional requirements. Now, what non-functional requirements majorly details about the security, safety, capability, reachability, all that. So offline capability, because the kind of mobile app we were able to develop, we are developing now, the mobile app should have an allow for data entry without any internet or syncing automatically when there is any back online. Next, there must be a compliance, whatever the technician's location that we are tracking, the data must be purged after 30 days, even the privacy policy that we are maintaining. The third about interoperability, because system must integrate with existing Azure IoT hub for any proactive equipment alerts. So these are the three non-functional requirements we should be good with. Now, this is what generally the business process flow. Followed by this, these are the user stories. User stories I have taken few here. One is from the dispatcher point of view because they wants to have a system where automatically they wants to optimize the routes so that they can reduce the travel time somewhere around 15% or so. For that, acceptance criteria is needed. Next, from the technician point of view, they want to see their daily schedules on phone so that they can prepare the necessary parts in the morning. Everything comes under. So these are the user stories followed by acceptance criteria, which has to be detailed. Followed by this, there are few test cases. Like test case, it can be a test scenario like technicians wants to add any products to W or any mobile, right? So warehousing and also they wants to have an inventory, warehouse inventory level drops. So they can identify the work order products, records creation, everything they can see. Next, what work order set must be closed and posted. So using these 365 finance can generate sale invoices, right? So general interest creation, everything can be done as an expected result. So these can be the test cases, many other apart. So this is how we should understand a business situation or a business case when we are working as a business analyst, especially from the dynamics as an example that we have taken, which is useful when we are attending for interviews or when we want to learn, right? So practical way of scenario-based learning is always advisable. That is what something this is intended for. Even it's useful in the real world as well.